Hello there. We're living in difficult times, and I'd like to talk a little about wants and needs. You may want to have a bigger house, but do you really need a bigger house? Maybe you could make do with the house you've been living in for a long time, or even maybe your house is too big and your mortgage is too difficult for you to handle, and you maybe need to look at downgrading. Again, wants or needs. Do you really need that luxury car? Or can you make do with something that gets you from A to B? Do you really need more clothing? Or can you make do with what you've got? You might say you need nicer clothes for business. But do you really need those nice clothes, those extra clothes? Or could you at least buy something very inexpensively? Ladies, how many pairs of shoes do you really need? Do you really need that extra piece of jewellery? I know it's nice to own books, but maybe you could get all the books you need from the library, and very often they'll order something for you, so you would not have to pay for it. How many times are you going out eating every week? What kinds of restaurants are you going to? Could you maybe reduce the number of times you entertain? Everybody loves electronic things, but how fancy does your computer really have to be? How wonderful a sound system do you need to be able to enjoy music? I think it's really important now to start looking at what can you relinquish altogether, what can you compromise on, and what do you really need? And these issues need to be distinguished. And my suggestion would be that you really make a note of everything you're spending every day. And start thinking about this now before things could get stressed and you maybe have to give it all up. Much easier now if you've started to economise and you've started to save and you end up with a plus amount in your account at the end of the month. That's going to feel good so that if things get really bad, you've actually got something put by. It's estimated here in New Zealand that the average New Zealander has only got 1 month's wages to live on should they lose their job or their work. That's not very much of a buffer zone. So really thinking about wants and needs is incredibly important. A lot of people want to go on vacations. And they go on vacation that they can ill afford and they come back and nothing's changed other than they've got less money in the bank that they had before. So if you want to go on vacation, do make sure you've got enough money and that you've got some money to come back to. Now I know that during a depression, people tend to get more depressed and you do need a bit of a lift from time to time. But start looking at the things that are free. There's art galleries, museums, there's nature, there's all kinds of things that you can do for free. There's often free musical concerts. And I think it's a time now when friends and family need to start to come together to do things that are enjoyable to give one another a bit of a lift. I think it's a time of coming together. So I hope this is helpful. Really start to economise now before you may have to. Thank you very much for listening. See you soon.